More than 6,000 registered voters were expected to cast their votes in the by-election. The by-election follows after the Landless People's Movement expelled its regional councillor Gerrit Witbooi. I'm now joined by the Keetmanshoop NBC News reporter Natangwe Jimmy to give us an update on the latest developments. Natangwe, good evening and welcome to the Daily Roundup.
Good evening and thank you so much for having me.
How has the voting process progressed throughout the day, Natangwe?
Well, thank you so much. Currently, I'm standing here at the TRC Resource Center where the voting is currently underway. Polling stations opened at 7 o'clock this morning. It was a bit a chilly morning today, so people were a bit slow to come to the polling stations. But yeah, as the sun started to warm up, we started to see more and more people, flocking to the polling stations to cast their vote in this by-election.
Mm-hmm. And what was the turnout like, especially, that of young people and first-time voters?
Of course, that is one of the things that the ECN made sure this time around, that through their voter education, that they ensure that a number of young people turn up. This, with the supplementary registration, we noticed that a lot of young people did really come to register so that they can have a chance to vote today. And this, as we speak also, I see a number of young people also just coming in to the polling stations, because it's past 5 now, so most people are working. So people are making use of this time now to come to the polling stations. So yes, indeed, a lot of young people have really made sure that they come to the polling stations to exercise their democratic right and participate in this by-election.
Mm-hmm. What time are the polling stations expected to close, Natangwe?
Polling stations are expected to close at 9 o'clock, after which the counting of the ballots and the verification process and the subsequent announcements of the results will take place. This, as you know, will take place in ROUNDUP, where the constituency office is based.
All right. And have you perhaps had a chance to speak to voters? What are their 2 cents on this election?
Well, I spoke to a couple of voters because I'm currently still here at the TRC where voting is currently taking place here. So I spoke to a number of voters. In terms of the process, most of them say to me, the longest that they've been waiting here was 5 minutes, and the process is really smooth. They go into the polling station. They show their voters' cards. It's been verified. They cast their ballot and they are out. So the process has really been smooth. Since the time I've been standing here speaking to you, we've seen people that came and sat down and went into the voting booth and came out again. So it's really been smooth running as far as this by-election is concerned.
Mm-hmm. Now, Tangwe, I do understand that you spoke to the governor of the Karas region. Let's take a look.
And I also encourage others, specifically those that are residing in the Keetmanshoop rural constituency, to come up in numbers, because your vote is your voice. If you don't vote, you won't be able to hold the leaders accountable, because your vote gives you the voice to raise your concerns, to be part of consultations that are taking place in that respective constituency or in the country on how issues are done and on how service delivery should be done in that respective constituency. So it's very imperative for everybody to come and vote.
Of course, Natangwe, you mentioned that after the polling stations close, the counting process does begin. So when can we expect, in sort of a time frame, results?
Well, as you know, the Keetmanshoop rural constituency, there is about 6,000 eligible voters that are expected to cast their ballots during this exercise. But that voter apathy is one of the things that has been a problem. But through the exercise of the educational exercise of the Electoral Commission of Namibia, we hope to see at least half of the 6,000 people turn up to cast their votes during this exercise. But like you rightfully also said earlier, the counting process, once the polling stations closed at 9 o'clock this evening, immediately the counting process will start, thereby the verification, and then we will see the announcement right after that one. So it's still going to be a long road for us here on the ground, but we are hopeful that, at least the results will be announced by the end of this day.
Natangwe Jimmy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
NBC reporter in the South, Natangwe Jimmy, is speaking to us there on the line. Moving on to further local news around